Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, we're winding back the clock to an era of superhero games that was both incredible and kind of scarily bad. We're talking about the old Batman video games in celebration of the release of the movie The Batman, which looks awesome, by the way. I remember seeing the promotional art for this movie with the red and black, the rain. It just brought back so many Batman Beyond vibes. I was so stoked to see it. Today is finally the day. I cannot wait. And with that, I wanted to break out some older Batman games to celebrate this occasion. I know a lot of Batman fans are most familiar with the Batman Arkham video games with Arkham Asylum, City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, which is not talked about enough. We'll talk about those maybe in the future if people want to see more, but I wanted to bring it back a little bit further. Now, not so far back into the NES era where those Batman games were, they were a special breed. We're talking about really the PlayStation 2 era of Batman games. I've got 5 I want to talk with all of you about here in this video, so thank you so much for joining me in a video that I've had in mind since, I think, December. I've been thinking about this video at least once a week, just so excited to do it because it reminds me of what we did for the Raimi Spider-Man games. These superhero games were so special to me growing up that I'm so excited to have a place to talk about them. So if you want more of this, we're going to talk more about the Spider-Man games. Don't worry, we're going to get back into that soon. And of course, we're going to talk more Batman video games. So with that, let's get it started with the Retro Rebound tradition, which is the complete in-box copy. I got to start off with my favorite. We are going in release order, but no matter what was happening, we were talking about Batman Vengeance first, without a doubt. Oh my God. Okay, I got to open the complete in-box copy because once I start with this game, you're not stopping me. So let me at least do my typical methods here. So on the back, it says action with a vengeance. Become Batman with over 500 unique animated moves. You live the Dark Knight with a sleek arsenal of weapons and devices like the Batarangs, Bat Grapples, Flash Bombs, Remote Charges, Bat Cuffs, Nets, the Bat Launcher, Bat Scope, and more. And it's built on, get this, next-gen technology featuring 5.1 Dolby surround sound and over 40 minutes of rendered cutscenes, which would sound horrible nowadays to a gamer, plus 19 open environments throughout Gotham City. This game was made by Ubisoft. Ubisoft was a Batman developer for some time, and they did a pretty good job. So let's crack this bad boy open. As you can see, this is not the official case. Unfortunately, no memory card slot. You can just tell by the way the disc is rattling around. Not great, but it did come with this product catalog, which I thought was really cool because you can see, of course, Batman Vengeance is going to be in here, but they have stuff like Grandia. Somewhere there's Tarzan. I've never heard of this, Elondar, Rayman 2, and then there it is, Grandia 2. So pretty cool catalog that was in there. I wasn't aware until I cracked it back open. But looking at the instruction manual here, you can kind of get a feel for the game. You're noticing a lot of darkness here, right? The Dark Knight. This game, for its time, 2001, mind you, was not only, I would kind of buy into the idea of next gen. Like, it was definitely ahead of its time, but this was a dark game in both storytelling and, of course, the actual environment itself. Okay, now that we've got this out of the way, if there's a game that I can unnecessarily quote from top to bottom that probably no one knows about me, right? Maddie, the Fallout fan. Maddie, the Persona fan. Maddie, the Trails fan. Like, yeah, y'all know a lot about me, right? Maddie, the Batman Vengeance fanboy. I played this game so much growing up. I literally know the dialogue from top to bottom. I can quote this game more than probably any other video game that's ever come out. That's how much I played it. I love how they brought back Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy for their roles in this game. That was kind of crazy for its time, mind you. Especially for not a tie-in game, right? It was definitely based off of the animated series, as you can tell by the art style you're seeing. But, I mean, the red sky, the lightning flashes, this game was atmospheric, and as a kid, it scared the hell out of me. I gotta be real with y'all. It scared me big time. Like, there are some moments in this game that are just unsettling. Like when you see Mr. Freeze for the first time and he goes, "Hope is death."
Hope is death.
Like, yo, what's wrong, Mr. Freeze? What's going on? Why are you being like this? And you find all the cops frozen. You're like, what happened? Are they dead? I just remember this game scaring me so much. Don't get me started on the poison ivy levels. I could go on. I will probably make an individual video on this game from top to bottom because I think it's that good. When people sit there and go, Batman video games were never good, I'm like, you never played Vengeance. I know you haven't, because this game is awesome. From the soundtrack to the graphics to the combat to the sound effects to the story, to the tone. This game is very Batman. Is it limited by its next-gen technology? Yes. Yes, it's not as open. It's definitely linear. There are certainly camera problems. Like when you're driving the Batmobile, when you want to turn the corner, you don't just turn the corner. You shoot your bat grapple into a wall and bend around it in this right angle fashion. It's not great. There are things in this game that I play now, as I've replayed it twice in the last year, and I'm just like, you know, this is something that I understand why I got stuck as I was a kid. But there's just something about this game that, in a lot of ways, it's intangible. I can't really put my fingers on, and it's honestly probably nostalgia, but I adore it so much. It really has aged well, outside of some of the stuff that I mentioned earlier. If you can deal with some camera issues from time to time, what you're looking at is, tonally speaking, a really compelling Batman game. And the combat, I love the sound effects, like when Batman throws a punch, like it sounds like the wind's cutting because he's punching so fast. There's some great combos in here. Like the box art says, it's no fib, like 500 moves. So when I get in a fight and I'm getting surrounded, I'm loving it. Is it free flow combat from the Arkham games? No, but it's nice, fun, beat 'em up combat. So I cannot recommend Batman Vengeance enough, and starting to back up for this video here in celebration of a new Batman movie. Oh, what a great choice it was. Really got me hyped for it. Let's talk about the sequel though. Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. So this was a direct sequel to Batman Vengeance. I got this one complete in copy. Unfortunately, this one's very different from Batman Vengeance. Tone-wise, gameplay-wise, everything's different. They kind of just threw it out the window and said, let's do something completely different. Again, as you can see, very black and white when it comes to the to these instruction manuals. They're like, that's Batman, and it saves us ink on the printer. But what I liked about this most was here on the back, you can actually see there are action figure promos in stores fall 2003. Like, I love this stuff. It's so cool. I actually think I had the Hydro Suit Batman or the Stealth Armor Batman. I remember these two action figures, but really cool. I always say they don't make action figures like they used to. They're just not as good nowadays. I mentioned this in an older video, but I'll stop in like the action figure section at Walmart, for example, just to see like, what are kids buying nowadays? What are they getting? If I have a kid, what is he going to get? What is she going to get? Well, let's just say they've gone down in quality and the paint jobs aren't as good, I think. So anyway, on the back it says, a new evil rises. Beyond madness, beyond evil, and driven by a single desire to conquer, Sin Tzu is an enemy unlike any Batman has ever faced. Batman calls upon his allies, Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl, to stem the tide of this new rising evil. So yeah, what's cool about this game is it actually introduces a brand new villain, Sin Tzu. He's not the craziest villain. And as you can see in the gameplay, much more linear this time around. And they went for a 3D beat 'em up. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think as a follow-up to Vengeance, I would have liked something a little more dark, but I do think this is still a good game pulled away from that situation, standing on its own. This is a co-op driven game. They actually have moves that you can unlock in the upgrades at the end of each level. So you can get throw moves, you can get timed combos where you press like square, square, wait a second, then triangle, something like that. But there's also moves that they're called buddy moves that you can set up and do together with a friend. And I remember bringing this over to a friend's house when I was a kid and doing the buddy moves together. When you combine that, and I know I said this with Vengeance, with the sound effects, there's some bone-breaking moves in this game that feel so good. Like when you're landing a punch and you just hear the rage meter go off and you do a spin attack and wipe out like 4 with a single punch, it feels good. Unfortunately, it is a little repetitive. You do go through the same narrow alleys. You're never going left and right. You're always going straight. And when you make a left, then it realigns the camera and you're going straight again. So it is a very formulaic beat 'em up. That doesn't make it bad. Like one of my favorite games is Turtles in Time. So I'm seasoned with beat 'em ups, but the way the levels move and change in the background and things that enter the foreground is what makes it interesting to play. And it's also not like 6 hours long. But what they went for is they had style, substance, storytelling here. They kind of threw it away for gameplay and replayability. Because you can play, as the back of the box art said, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Batman, of course. And each of them have their own movesets. They all play a little bit differently. And again, with it being co-op, you can bring friends in. So, as you can tell, Nightwing is who I'm playing as, baby. That's right. So you can play as Nightwing, and your friend can play as Robin or Batgirl, whoever. And you can do some cool combo moves with everyone together. The one thing I don't like about it, going back to it, was that every mission's on a timer, and timers are pretty good for urgency in gameplay because sometimes when there's a story reason, it can work out really well, although it's a dangerous design move. Rise of Sin Tzu is an example of when it's getting a little too close to the sun. They shouldn't have done it because it's a beat 'em up where everyone has like set health bars where you have to land like 2 combos specifically on this enemy to kill them. The reason this sucks is because eventually, the clock will start winding down, not because you're not beating them up, but because you're not doing specific combos to knock them out. And that's where the repetition sets in. It's like, well, this is the best combo for damage and it covers the most area, so I'm going to do that. And you just start rinsing and repeating, and that can hurt itself. So it's not as good, in my opinion, as Vengeance. But if you're looking for a fun couch co-op game, Rise of Sin Tzu is a great time. All right. Last one of what I'd call the golden era. I put that in loose quotes because I'm not as in love with it as, say, like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. But this game is good. I don't think it gets enough praise. I get why. We'll talk about it. Batman Begins. So this was a movie tie-in game. In fact, what's really cool about this, we'll crack it open right away. You see it comes with 1 adult movie ticket for Batman Begins. I searched high and low because right when I saw that on the cover art, I was like, I got to get that for Retro Rebound. So you crack it open, and right here, you can actually see it comes with a free movie ticket. Open in theaters everywhere, June 15th, 2005. And this is redeemable. Hollywood movie money. But I just thought it was incredible that someone actually was selling this online with the ticket in here that had never been used. Just a real cool find. So I mentioned Ubisoft had actually taken the reins for the Batman games for some time, right? But then it was EA's turn. So EA has now stepped in to do Batman Begins. And we'll start off with, of course, the inside of the manual. Surprise, surprise. It's black, white, and gray. Nothing crazy or artistic about this one. So let's hop straight to the back, which will set up exactly what we're going to talk about. Fear is your weapon. Stalk your enemies from the shadows. Unleash powerful moves based on the unique fighting style created for the movie. Feel the power of the Batmobile where you'll tear up the streets and rooftops in lightning-fast vehicular combat. And here's where the thing, it gets a little hit or miss for people. Play the movie. Embrace the darkness of Arkham Asylum and the alleys of Gotham, featuring the voices of Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Katie Holmes, Cillian Murphy, Tom Wilkinson, and Morgan Freeman. So yeah, that's the thing. It comes with the ticket. This isn't the first time that a movie game has done this. It's very common back in these days for those who don't know. And it is very much a movie game. Like, you're going to see cutscenes that really aren't cutscenes like, say, Batman Vengeance, where they actually had fully rendered 3D cutscenes that were unique to the game. They'll take scenes from the movie and reuse them. And it's not a great feeling when you see that type of stuff. I don't know. It just feels like they took a shortcut there to save some money. But here's why I don't think Batman Begins gets enough credit. One thing that Batman is all about is fear, right? Channeling fear into the very enemy he is stalking. In this game, as you fight enemies, their heartbeat goes up. And as you do things to create fear in the environment in like stealth sections, it's so awesome. Of course, we saw that evolved upon in the Arkham games. When you go into your vision where you can actually see the heartbeat of your enemies, you'll see when the BPM starts going up. So this game, I thought, really set a standard about the fear of Batman, and as well as the movie, before really Arkham Asylum did. And I think that's something that doesn't get enough credit. Otherwise, the combat, the visuals for a 2005 game look really good. When I was playing this, I was seriously impressed at how sharp the images look in this game. I mean, for all it did to take shortcuts by saying, let's just follow the movie, it looks dang good. And it takes one aspect of Batman that was built upon and made it a core pillar of its gameplay that worked really well. So I liked it. The vehicle combat, I've never been a vehicle combat guy in any video game. So if you're asking me, even if you put the best vehicle combat in front of me, I probably wouldn't be crazy about it. I just like to do things with my own hands. I feel like the vehicles take that away. I don't know. Maybe I'm a control freak underneath it all. I don't think so. But yeah, Batman Begins, I don't think it gets enough credit. I thought the combat felt good. You could see elements starting to be planted in for what the Arkham games would be beyond the fear system. Like, even the combat had a little bit of flow to it. Like, for as much as I liked Rise of Sin Tzu and Batman Vengeance for their beat 'em up styles, it was very much like mono-y-mono, even if you had 4 enemies surrounding you. And that kind of fights against Sin Tzu. But with Batman Begins, you could really start to streamline some moves. Not as silky smooth as, say, the Arkham games, but you could start to get into that rhythm a little bit. It would feel a little janky, but I feel like it doesn't get enough credit for how it built the Batman games that we know and love today. Okay. I spent about 15 minutes now talking about the good. Batman's also had a bit of a tragic history that I just need to document, because you may have noticed I made a bit of a leap in between the Ubisoft games from Vengeance to Sin Tzu. Yeah. So let's talk about the magnum opus of bad, Batman Dark Tomorrow. And it's so fitting that I bought the crummiest case alive. You can see the smudges, the GameStop double sticker combo. It's not only on the top, on the plastic, but it's inside on the label. I don't care. You'll notice it says on the front, limited comic inside. Boom. It's not there. The manual's torn up. This was lazy retro rebound hours. There's no way I was paying the price of admission for this. For those who want a more detailed look at the ins and outs of how bad this game is, check out my video over on Mr. Matty, place called Humanity's Worst Games, Batman Dark Tomorrow. I go all out on why this game is hilariously bad, but we gotta honor the tradition here, and I'll tell you why this game was such a tragedy. So, here we go. On the back, it says, Gotham City is on the verge of a dark tomorrow. Something unspeakable lies in the shadows. An unseen miasma of dread lingers in the darkness. An unrelenting evil lurks in the night. A madman has set a catastrophic chain of events in motion. The fate of the world is at stake and only one person can stop them. Batman. Immerse yourself in an expansive and realistic Batman universe with state-of-the-art graphics and breathtaking cinematics. Have you noticed something? Nothing about the gameplay. Nothing. Why is that? You know what? Here's a little bit of a small highlight reel of just how bad this game is to play from that video I just recommended. Oh my god. Oh my god. No way! Oh wow, I made it without having to grab the side. Wait, I just lost 10 health from what? Wait, what just happened? These camera angles make me sick to my stomach. Like, just pay attention to how often they change. Like, change there, jump, change there. Change there. How can you walk in a straight line in this game? It's literally impossible. Change again. Oh, I can't line it up, bro. Dude, my man can't even go down the stairs. He can't even go down the stairs right. Look at this. He's just hopping down the stairs. Yeah. Oh, dear God almighty. No. Batman Dark Tomorrow is one of the worst video games ever made. It's not just a bad Batman game. It's one of the worst video games made. Now, I will give it this. I will give its roses here, because typically we focus on the positive here on Retro Rebound. The cinematics in this game are dope. Like, really, really, really good stuff. But if you know anything about video game development, when you see this logo here, Kemco, run the other way. We're about to see them in a matter of moments again. Don't you worry, because we got one more to go through. But Kemco was the kiss of death to Batman video games. I remember Vengeance, Sin Tzu, and then Blockbuster. It's sitting right there. I'm like, yo, new Batman game. These have been so good. Let's try. No, I couldn't get past the first level because of the way you have to back grapple. It's so awkward. It's so awkward. Like, even feeling it, you just know there was no thought put into this game. Like, when you shoot the back grapple up, you shoot it into the sky and you can just hang there and just twirl around and hang there. Back grapple. I want a slow, steady rise to the top here. Nice and high up where we're safe. I don't know what I'm attached to right now. Let's let me go this high. And I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna make it. The combat is just this rinse and repeat, like rocket kicks constantly from Batman. It's just, oh man. Kemco is not good at making video games. Batman Dark Tomorrow really, really symbolizes all of that. Not, mind you could beat this game in 2 hours, okay? So they put all of the money, all of the budget into the cinematics, and you can tell. If you're going to reminisce on any Batman games, let it not be this one. That's all I'm going to say. And now there's one that really traumatized me as a kid. There's two versions to it. I got the cheaper one here because, you know, I don't like to break that Retro Rebound tradition. Even if it's a game I'm not crazy about, I like to get it complete in box just to show you all. So, we got to go to the era of Batman Beyond. I talked about in the beginning how, you know, this new The Batman poster really with the red and black brought that Batman Beyond vibe out for me. Like, that had me geeking out. I loved Batman Beyond growing up. And when they made a video game, Return of the Joker, based off the movie, I was stoked as a young lad. I bought not only the N64 version, which is way more expensive than it has to be, I bought the Game Boy Color version too. And I remember as I was doing research for this video, just making sure I didn't miss any Batman games, when I found this game and I saw the box art, I went, I loved Batman Beyond. Did I have this? Let me look up the other versions. When I found the Game Boy Color version, a trauma unlike any other came back to me. The reused sound effects, the horrible combat, the bad exploration, the cheap deaths. Oh my gosh. For those of you who grew up with like Batman on NES, that was me with this game pretty much. Like that's what it was like. That's how I think about it. That type of game. But anyway, we got a complete unboxing. And for those of you who don't know, I never owned a PS1 growing up. So for me, this is like one of the first games I owned in a PS1 collection. I actually didn't even know this, when you crack open the jewel case, that the box art and the manual are one and the same. This was news to me. I've honestly never done this. Now, of course, this game has great promotions, great box art. Look at that. The Dark Knight staff, the magnetic nunchucks, the Dark Knight discus. Look at the art here. Like, look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. Like, Kemco is good at art and animation. It's clear. But when it comes, look at the thug pictures here. Oh my goodness. They're great at art though, right? They're great at, you know, creating a moment, but they're not good at, you know, the gameplay moment, so to say. But Ubisoft was involved in this one. This is the complete in-box copy, so we'll just slide that back in like that. It comes with the disc. Disc does look pretty cool. I like that you got Batman Beyond on the bottom. The disc bottom is black. I thought that was actually really cool. Again, I don't own any PS1 games, so I thought they were always blue on the bottom. So to me, I thought this was really cool. Anyway, neat little complete in-box copy. Cheapest one that I could get. It was like 20 bucks. So this game scarred me, like I said, because of its repetition and its sound effects. Just the level of repetition, even as a young lad, where our brains aren't fully developed, right? I think it was like 7 maybe. You know, our brains aren't fully developed. We're still figuring things out. And even then, I was like bored to tears, because I was like, this is so distasteful that they've done this. Now, fortunately, around the corner for me was Batman Vengeance, but that's kind of a collection of the messy history of the Batman games, right? You've got games like these two here, which, by the way, look who did it. Small logo there. Kemco. Yep. Kemco just has everything wrong to do with Batman video games. That's not me being biased. You want to find out for yourself? I dare you. You want to waste your money? I dare you. But these three here are a collection of legitimately good Batman games. So don't forget that amidst the bad, there's always good. Where light is cast, shadows are indeed created. Shadows where Batman is hiding, mind you. But this has been an absolute blast nonetheless, going down memory lane with all of you on these wonderful Batman video games. So many memories stored in all of these. And I could not be more thankful that all of you have joined me in this video to think back on some of them. And I think now that this video is done, I'm going to get rid of these two somehow. Whether I set them on fire or sell them on eBay, I've yet to decide. But thank you all so much for joining me. Do you want to see more Batman video game videos? Let me know. Certainly we have many more to go through, whether it be the older NES games, of course the Arkham games, and then we can individualize them, right? Like, I would love to make an individual video on Batman Vengeance from top to bottom, just a complete analysis of it. Anyway, this has been probably our longest video on Retro Rebound. That's how much I love Batman video games. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you to our editor, Lockmort, for putting up with me here. And take great care of yourselves. Peace out.